What's cracking, guys? Omar Esoff here, back with another video, back with Eric. What the Eric! Eric, dude. Eric! 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 Those are some pretty sweet moves you have there, bro.
Are we gonna pretend I was just dancing?
Yeah, like over, not in that studio
Yes.
that we're in. Yeah.
That I was just dancing right now in that strange white room that was across the street.
Yeah, I mean, we're outside, but it's inside, but when you're inside, it's outside.
Well, I tell you, my first thought when I see a weird room in a parking lot that's white is,
Go in.
I gotta go dancing.
I gotta go in there.
Yeah.
So who has better dance moves, Eric? You or Silent Mike?
Who's Silent Mike?
Oh no. What's cracking, guys? Omar Esoff here, back with another video, back with the special guest, Eric Helms, in the flesh. What's going on, bro?
Not much, just, hanging outside the gym, dancing in a white room.
Yeah, and it's almost like this is the first video we're doing for the channel. It's not like you've been here for a few days and we filmed a ton of content or anything, right?
I think it's important for people to remember that the order that videos come out on YouTube is definitely the order in real life.
Yeah, it is 1-to-1, best believe. So we're talking today about hypertrophy because, Eric, for those that might not be aware, even though I think most people are aware of the Eric Helms.
I am the current Mr. Olympia.
Yeah, Mr. Olympia. Back-to-back, 8 times. Phil Heath got his ass kicked.
Yeah.
Dr. Eric Helms, PhD. He has been around in the fitness community for a long period of time, taking an evidence-based approach, also coaching a ton of athletes as part of 3DMJ. Started this gangster shit. You're basically largely responsible for the increased attention in natural bodybuilding and flexible dieting and all those things. I'll say it for him because he's too humble. He won't say it. In this video today, I mean, we're filming here some Kaizen projects, but in this video, we want to give a quick hypertrophy tip.
Yep.
All related to back development. I actually did your back routine. I did your upper body and lower body, and my lower body's rocked. Eric, you're currently going through a little bit of a injury. Talk us through why someone should do a pullover, even if they're not injured, and even if they do pull-ups and a variety of back movements. Why is there a place for pullovers and someone's back training?
Absolutely. So I think in the bodybuilding community, we often identify movements with muscles.
Yeah.
And while that's kind of useful, it's probably better to understand what the function of a muscle is.
Yeah.
Like we often think, hey, rows and lat pull downs, that's for back.
Yeah.
But why? And the main reason is what we call shoulder extension, right? That's just bringing basically the arm back towards neutral in any plane. So that occurs when you do a pull down or you do a row.
Yeah.
But if you were to isolate that movement, it would more or less be like a pullover that you could see. But with a dumbbell, you're only getting some range of motion because of the line of pulls with gravity. So you can use a cable, and you can get a much more constant tension while moving through extension. Okay. Now, the reason why I'm doing it is because I have a bit of a bicep weakness due to my neck injury.
Yeah.
I'm okay, and I will be okay. We're all going to be okay.
We're all going to be okay.
Yeah. So bicep strength, not there. So all of the rows and the pull downs, you kind of have these synergist muscles of the lats, the back, and your bicep in general. So with the push down, however, there's a little bit of long headed tricep and the lat. So it's a useful way for me to keep my lat mass, and it's also a great way for you to get a better mind muscle connection with your lats. It's notorious that bodybuilders have a tough time getting good feeling in certain parts of their back musculature because it's relatively complicated. You can't really see it. You don't have as much of a visual connection. So in my experience, a lot of athletes struggle with getting a good mind-muscle connection in their back. So this is a way to kind of isolate that. And what we can do is show you how to do that.
Yep.
And talk through kind of what you should feel, what you should focus on in the actual movement to basically get a targeted lat movement.
Okay, so now talk us through the movement if someone wants to do. What are some cues they should be paying attention to?
Absolutely. So the big one is you're going to want to hinge at the hip. And then you're going to want to set the cables up as high as you possibly can. And you're probably going to use either a straight bar or an angled bar. And you're going to place your hands here. Now, hinging at the hips doesn't mean bending here. You want to keep your upper body pretty flat to the floor. You're going to be in full extension. and you're going to pull while keeping your elbows locked towards the hips. And when you get to the top, you're going to elevate the scapula, and then depress as you pull down and think of sticking your chest out. So it's basically kind of like a row combined with a push down while not letting the elbow bend. And you should feel a nice contraction right throughout the whole lap.
Okay, and so when people talk about incorporating now this movement, where should it fall in someone's training program?
Great question.
Thank
so
you.
I typically like to program upper lower. That's a really kind of basic program, and as you get more advanced, you can do upper lower more frequently. You can also do like a legs push pull, something like that, or even full body.
Yeah.
Just remember that because this is not including elbow flexion, it's not going to be a bicep movement, but it is going to hit your triceps. So for example, if you're going through an upper body day, and let's say you do bench, row, overhead press, lat pull down, that's great, but you wouldn't want to slot in a lat push down in between two push movements because it's also hitting the triceps.
Right.
So I'd probably do it closer to the end or early on in either a back day. So if it's upper body day near the end, if it's just a back day in and of itself, you could do it at the beginning as kind of an isolation movement, but I would probably still stick to your compounds.
Okay.
Unless you just really don't quite have that mind-muscle connection yet.
Now, what about rep range sets? What should we be aiming for?
I find that because this movement is with a cable, it's kind of restricted, it's not that hard to do.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, some of these movements that aren't hard to do, you want to focus on more of the mind-muscle connection, like extension or a bicep curl or something like that. It's harder to do that when you're really heavy initially. So I'd say start with like the 12 to 15 rep range for the most part, 12 to 20 even. And then once you really get the movement down, and under like moderate and light lows you can control the movement, then you can start to work in like say the 6 to 12 rep range. You can definitely go pretty heavy on these. It's kind of hard. You might have to like kick one leg back to maintain your position. But for the most part, I like the 8 to 15 rep range for these. Once you've gotten really good control, start lighter than that at first.
Yeah. So the cable lat pullover is a viable movement for people to do. Something that probably it fell out of favor. It used to be more in favor when it comes to bodybuilding, but such is the ebb and flow when it comes to training. Do you have any parting pieces of advice when it comes to this movement or anything like that when it comes to back training?
Yeah, just remember there is no secret sauce, and it's not like I'm elevating this above good old-fashioned rows and good old-fashioned lat pull-downs. It's just that people butcher those movements so often. You'll see the lat pull-down turn into this basically a high row, and you're basically reducing the range of motion of shoulder extension. Likewise, everyone ends up using their spinal extensors on a row and then leaning back and shortening their range of motion. If anything, you want to stay slightly lean forward so you get that full extension in the shoulder.
Yep.
But this is a pure shoulder extension movement, so it kind of helps people who aren't doing it very well. But you really should just properly perform rows, properly perform pull-downs or pull-ups, and then use this as an addition to that to really help bring up the lagging back.
Eric, I think you explained everything. Thank you for being part of this video. I feel that. You know who's not feeling anything?
Oh, yes.
The people in Hereditary.
No.
Yeah, they're
Well,
not.
Their souls might be.
Their souls might
This
be.
video is going to be so dated in like a year from now.
It's timeless, and I wouldn't say that.
I think he's underestimating how much of a cult classic Hereditary is going to be.
Yeah. Or the fact that the soul is eternal.
Or how quickly we're going to remove this video from the channel if that isn't the case.
Yeah.
Archive.
Watch your mouth! Anyways, guys, that is all the time we have. If you like the video, if you want to see more content with Eric, make sure to like the damn video. Eric, where can people find you?
At my house.
At my house. Find me.
On Instagram at Helms3DMJ.
Yep.
But beyond that, I would direct you to 3dmusclejourney.com.
Yep.
We've got links to my books. We've
Yep.
got links to MOMMA'S, our research review, if you really want to get your nerd on. Soon you can find me at Kaizen.
Oh, secret project coming up. We're bringing the big players on.
And you can also find us at /Team3DMJ on YouTube, where we have the exact same first 2 digits in terms of followers as Omar Isuf, just minus 1 decimal point.
Yeah, it's the same thing, man. I will link all that in the description. Like I said, that's all the time we have. I'll see all you guys, my rascals, in that next video. Peace. Oh, I went early. I just messing with you.
Peace.
Yes.
Got
You're
it.
the best.
Eric.